Good morning, Roll Gang, and welcome on inside to this Fuck Yeah Friday episode of the Weekday Wake and Bake. I am your host this morning, just like every morning at 8 a.m. Pacific Time, Processor Sky, here with some cannabis content to touch on while we blaze our herb, because after all, we have awoke, so now we smoke, as is stoner law, to have a wake and bake whenever you have the blessing to wake up. So I'm super excited to bring this Fuck Yeah Friday episode of the show to you guys. Today's show is the top 10 cities to smoke pot in. Power ranking, the top 10 best cities to have a nice cannabis sesh whenever you are there. So super excited to get on into this kind of tourism episode of the show. But before we get on into it, huge shout out to you guys rolling in, everybody tapping in on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. You guys are all the shit. We go live every weekday morning at 8 a.m. Pacific Time to blaze some herb, have a nice wake and bake, and talk about some cannabis content. So every Friday on the Weekday Wake and Bake is Fuck Yeah Friday, and we just like to talk about some random cannabis content. So the top 10 cities of cannabis on deck for this Fuck Yeah Friday edition of the Weekday Wake and Bake. But before we get on into the top 10, major shout out to the sponsors of the show, because they make things happen for us and make this show possible. Oaksterdam University, the country's first and finest cannabis college. If you guys are trying to claim your stake in this booming industry, then Oaksterdam University is where you go to study and learn about this amazing herb. Promo code Rolling Spoon, one word, ROLLINGSPOON, will get you 10% off your cannabis education and teach you a ton of shit about what this herb has to offer. I highly suggest their home grow course. So you can take this course online and basically learn how to grow amazing cannabis in your home, in a closet or in your garage. So super great, relevant education. Promo code Rolling Spoon to get 10% off your cannabis industry education. Go get educated on this amazing plant. This show is also brought to you this morning by the Rolling Spoon Cannabis Multi-Tool, helping me to roll a dime every single time for 128 wake and bakes in a row. I am super excited to be rolling up a nice joint with this custom spoon designed to help you roll a dime every time. And finally, this show is brought to you by Quality Vegas Bud, the best homegrown cannabis in the Las Vegas area. I am smoking on some glue cream cake from my guy this morning. I am so excited to be smoking it. Shout out Joe. Shout out everybody tapping in here this morning. Super excited, and without further ado, to get into the top 10 cities in cannabis. So, coming in at number 10, the 10th best city in the United States for smoking herb, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Huge shout out, Smokelahoma. They kind of went from having no cannabis market to having one of the best cannabis markets in the country overnight. Oklahoma City has over 800 dispensaries in the city and the surrounding area, and that is the most per capita right now. And Oklahoma City's market is just going through the roof. Oklahoma as a whole, people probably come from all around, like Texas and Arkansas, just to consume some, because they not only have very lax dispensary applications, but they also have pretty lax consumption laws too. So Oklahoma City rapidly becoming one of the best cities to smoke cannabis, 10th on the list of the power ranking top 10 cannabis cities. So number 10, Oklahoma City. Coming in at number 9 on this Fuck Yeah Friday edition of the Weekday Wake and Bake, Boston, Massachusetts. Another brand new atmosphere to smoke herb, a brand new culture that's just introducing cannabis to it. Massachusetts. And the best city in Massachusetts, no doubt, is Boston. So you guys can, if you travel to Boston, you can actually consume on your private property. They have a bunch of dispensaries, but there is this famous smoke spot called the Mystic River that you can finally smoke at legally. I've never actually been to Boston, but doing a little bit of research, the Mystic River runs right through the city. And let's smoke some Mystic herb by the Mystic River. This herb sure is mystic. Holy shit, Joe. This is some fire right here. Caryophyllene and linalool. Woo! Spicy and herbal. Some blue cream cake courtesy of Quality Vegas Bud. So number 10, Oklahoma City. Number 9, Boston. Number 8 is a place near and dear to my heart, my former home city, Sacramento, California. So Sacramento, California is known for its seshes. So if you guys have ever heard of a cannabis sesh, not like just smoking herb with your friends. They call sessions these giant tabling events with herb, and basically all these vendors come from around the state. In Sacramento, the sesh culture was because of all the growers in NorCal needing an outlet to sell their herb. So they came to Sacramento, the hub, set up a table at this event, and culture. Boom, culture. And that's how I started my career into the industry, these black market sessions. The gas station, my original setup out in Sacramento, gas station Sac. Huge shout out Sacramento, but one of the best cannabis cultures. It's the state capital of California, and if you go to Sacramento, go sesh at Old Town. Old Sac is an absolute vibe. Great place to consume cannabis, and the 8th best city in the country to consume. So number 7 coming in on the list of top 10 cities. But before we get on into number 7, huge shout out, Oaksterdam University, the first ever cannabis college. Claim your stake in this amazing industry. Use promo code Rolling Spoon to get 10% off your cannabis business certificate from Oaksterdam University. That's right, cannabis business courses from Oaksterdam. Absolutely essential in the industry to get the proper education. So 10th, Oklahoma City. 9th, Boston. And 8th, Sacramento. So the 7th best city here on the top 10 stoner cities in the United States is Seattle. Seattle, Washington. What a place to smoke some herb. The legislation there is awesome, and it's absolutely beautiful. If you can find a time to go outside and it's not raining in Seattle, the weather is permitting, it's got to be one of the most beautiful cities to consume urban. And how crazy would it be to get high in the Space Needle? That would be really funny. Get stoned on the Space Needle. That unbelievable tower building in Seattle is called the Space Needle, and it's pretty amazing. So, the top 10 cities to smoke weed in on this Fuck Yeah Friday edition of the Weekday Wake and Bake. We're on to number 6. We got Oklahoma City, Boston, Sacramento, Seattle, and now Portland, Oregon. Oh my goodness. What a new emerging culture in Portland. I just love the vibes there. I mean, I never actually been, but the pictures are so beautiful, and it just seems like such a cultured city. And the way that they're open-minded about psychedelics, too, decriminalizing the use of magic mushrooms, I mean, Portland might just be the spot. They might just be open-minded enough to make such an awesome community for stoners. And it's definitely top 6 city to smoke weed in the United States, without a doubt. So as we head into the top 5 on this Fuck Yeah Friday edition of the Weekday Wake and Bake, let's do a quick recap. The 10th best city to smoke weed in, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. 9th, Boston. 8th, Sacramento. 7th, Seattle, Washington. 6th, Portland, Oregon. So let's forget those. Let's get into the top 5 here, because we all know the top 5 is where it's the most elite. So, number 5. The city I'm in right now currently hasn't been listed yet. Maybe it's going to be in the top 5. Number 5, San Diego, California. The most awesome beach sesh in the world. You guys, it's been a culture there for a long time. Smoking up some herb, some fine cannabis, and going surfing in the ocean. The classic beach sesh city, San Diego, California. Such an awesome dispensary culture and multi-million-dollar industry there. Just such a special place to consume herb. All these cities in California really do it right. San Diego is one of them. So number 5, San Diego. Number 4, Denver, Colorado. Oh, almost made the top 3, Denver, but it's just a little bit too cold for me. But Denver is one of the founding father cities of cannabis communities here in the United States. Guys, they have plentiful cannabis bed and breakfasts. Go to Denver, stay in one of the cannabis-friendly bed and breakfasts you can consume in your spot, and then you wake up, and when you go get your breakfast, you have a wake and bake. You have a wake and bake with the other residents of the bed and breakfast, and pop on your boy Processor. You know, it'll be, I think, 9 or 10 a.m. in Denver. But, you know, we'll be wake and baking with you. In the bed and breakfast in Denver, Colorado. Just an absolute mecca for the cannabis industry. So cultured, and I have been to Denver. My first cannabis purchase, my first ever legal purchase, was in Denver, Colorado. And my Grammy, the one that was on the show a whole bunch, she actually went into Native Roots, this amazing dispensary chain in Colorado, and bought me my first legal cannabis. So shout out Denver, Colorado, the 4th best city to smoke weed in. But now it gets real, and we get into the top 3 cities to smoke weed in the United States. before I get on into the top 3, Roll Gang, huge shout out Rolling Spoon, the original, OG way to procure your cannabis. Use it to scoop your herb out. Guys, this is a delicacy that we're smoking. It's not finger food. We're not meant to pinch it. Scoop it out of your grinder, put it into your bowl piece, your paper, whatever you do. Roll a dime. Every time. It's a hard time keeping it lit, though, while I bang out the top 10 cities to smoke weed in the United States on this Fuck Yeah Friday edition of the Weekday Wake and Bake. So coming in at number 3, the City of Angels, Los Angeles. So imagine getting stoned on Hollywood Boulevard. You know, Los Angeles is one of the most famous cities in the entire world, and it is very well known for such a rich cannabis culture. It is no doubt a top 3 city to smoke weed in the United States. There's just too much to do, too entertaining, and you know, the Jungle Boys originated out of Los Angeles. The Jungle Boys, one of the most popular cannabis hype brands. Just an incredible, dense culture of cannabis in Los Angeles. I have been there. I have smoked weed there in a bunch of locations. Gotta go do a little trip to go and try and sell some spoons in LA. See if we can get some spoons to be given out there. There are currently no spoons being given away in LA, which is a little bit bothersome. But we're gonna go on a trip down the road from Las Vegas to Los Angeles real quick and get some spoons in the 3rd best city to smoke weed in the United States. So, number 5 was San Diego, number 4, Denver, number 3, Los Angeles. And now we're into the runner-up and the champion of the best cities to smoke weed in the United States. I'm so excited to get on into these last 2. So coming in at number 2, the runner-up, the 2nd best city to smoke weed in the entire country. Number 2, Las Vegas, Nevada. That's right. I'm super biased. I couldn't give them the championship, but they are Las Vegas. We are the 2nd best city to smoke weed in the United States. Absolutely such a unbelievable culture here in the cannabis industry. Starting with the Chamber of Cannabis, doing it right, but I mean, getting stoned on the Las Vegas Strip is legendary, Roll Gang. The lights, the people watching, the amazing structures, like it's a cultural phenomenon, world-renowned, excitement everywhere, and the energy is just so much more palpable whenever you're smoking weed. We also house the world's largest dispensary, Planet 13. We have a bunch of dispensaries citywide, and how could it not be in the top 2? Las Vegas is home of the Rolling Spoon, cannabis multi-tool. There are people rolling their herb with rolling spoons here in Vegas, so it's gotta be there in the top 2 cities to smoke weed in the United States. Shout out Las Vegas, Nevada. But it's finally come down to the moment we've all been waiting for. And after all, it is time to announce the best, the champion, the number 1 city to smoke weed in the United States. I'm going to milk this for 1 second. I want to take another rip. I am struggling keeping this lit, Roll Gang. I got this super, super resiny herb from Quality Vegas Bud. It's like the Resin drippage is just drenching this thing. So, the best city to smoke weed in the United States. But before I get on into it, let's just do a quick rundown of the top 10. Number 10, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Smokelahoma. Number 9, Boston, Massachusetts. Number 8, the capital of California, Sacramento. Number 7, get high at the Space Needle in Seattle, Washington. Number 6, Portland, Oregon. Whoa. Number 5, San Diego, California. Number 4, the snowy cannabis mecca, Denver, Colorado. Number 3, the City of Angels, Los Angeles. Number 2, my home city, my home base, Las Vegas, Nevada. But the champion of them all, the best city to smoke weed in the United States, San Francisco, California, aka Bay Area. Bay Area. Gotta give a shout out to Oakland, right across the bridge. It doesn't count, but Oakland is where I studied college. You know, it's not quite a vibe to smoke in Oakland because of all the grime and the homeless situation, but you hop on the BART, go to San Francisco, infinite smoke spots. This is the most interesting city to smoke on the planet. The way that they built the structures in San Francisco so desperately during the gold rush on these crazy angular hills. Like, you're just smoking in these unbelievable terrains, views of the bay, Golden Gate Park, the Twin Peaks, the pier, Chinatown. Just absolutely elite culture, and you can truly immerse yourself. Like, you can really tell why people that go to San Francisco don't leave. Rent price is so high because it is such an amazing place to live and be. I lived in the Bay Area for 4 months. I was up in Martinez, but the BART just connects San Francisco to all the surrounding areas. And smoking weed on Pier 39 with the walruses. And guys, there is this unbelievable, it's the biggest smoke sesh in the world on 420 every year. So there's this mecca, global phenomenon of a city, San Francisco, right by the San Francisco Bay. But right in the middle of the city is this patch, this giant patch of nature that is preserved. They preserved it. It's called Golden Gate Park, and it is enormous. And in Golden Gate Park is this place called Hippie Hill. Guys, you gotta look up the pictures of 420 on Hippie Hill. It is like a fucking cumulus nimbus cloud of cannabis smoke is coming off of this hill. The cannabis culture in San Francisco is second to none. It's the best city in the world to smoke weed in. I mean, shout out Amsterdam, which belongs definitely high on this list if it was outside of America. Probably the only non-American city that belongs on the list. But nothing can touch the immaculate, the legendary San Francisco, California. I brought a horde of doob tubes one time, like 10 joints, I think more than 10, 12 or something like that. And I walked 23 miles in San Francisco. It's just a time that I will never forget. Like, great food, great scenery. The people are meh, you know what I mean? It's not like people watching, you come to Vegas, but the scenery is insane. You know, museums, history, structural phenomenons, and like the Ghirardelli factory. Go get some free chocolate samples whenever you're stoned. Like, it was incredible. I walked almost the whole marathon, the whole Golden Gate Park, just kept gushing over my favorite city to smoke weed in. But it has been an awesome Fuck Yeah Friday episode of the Weekday Wake and Bake Roll Gang. Such a pleasure smoking some herb with you guys like every weekday morning at 8 a.m. and talking about the top 10 cities to smoke weed in the United States. If you missed it or need a recap, just go and tap into the episodes on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. We're live right now, but after the fact, all the videos get posted. But major special shout out to everybody that taps in live. Shout out to everybody that taps in after too, but I just love Wake and Bake with the live folks. Shout out Lefkowitz J tapping in, needing the Rolling Roach clip. That's funny. Sky is seal the deal with the seals. That's right, with the seals at the pier. Good call, Wizard. Lefkowitz J, Ghirardelli Munch. Yeah, elite munchies in San Francisco. The best city to smoke weed in the United States. Very opinionated, but the processor's opinion, man. I mean, I smoked weed in, I think 6 or 7 of these top 10 cities, and I really, smoking allows you to, consuming cannabis really gives you connection to your environment, and, that's why I love smoking with you guys, Roll Gang. Connection with the Roll Gang. And just so much love to you guys. It has been an awesome week of Weekday Wake and Bakes from Pennsylvania to back to Las Vegas, Nevada. Next week, we're going to have a stacked week of Weekday Wake and Bakes for you guys. You know where to find me. Instagram, you guys are the shit. Facebook tapping in, YouTube live, Twitter, Periscope, Twitch. You guys know what it do. I love, so much love to you guys, Roll Gang. I hope you have an amazing weekend. And I'm going to go finish the rest of this joint because I'm pretty blazed. I coughed during the recap and it got me lit. So shout out Quality Vegas Bud, supplying the quality bud and the rolling spoon, allowing me to roll this dime. I mean, it's just, they're too good. They're too good. I can't smoke them all with you, but so much love, Roll Gang. See you guys Monday. Yeah.